Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. There's a massive unseen conflict happening all around us every single day. Today, we're looking at a fascinating devotional text called The Mighty Conqueror and the Strength of Faith. We're going to break down its core message, making it super approachable, especially if you're trying to help a kid figure out how to deal with those tough everyday moments of temptation.
So, did you know there's a hidden battle happening right now? I ask because the text reveals something incredibly profound. When we face bad influences, it's not just a run-of-the-mill bad day. We're actually right in the middle of a conflict. For a kid, this might feel like an invisible playground bully or, just overwhelming negative peer pressure. It's so easy for us, and definitely for kids, to feel totally overwhelmed when we're tempted to make a wrong choice. But the biggest takeaway here? We are absolutely not fighting alone.
All right, let's get into part 1, the hidden battle.
The text introduces us to our adversary. Now, an adversary is simply a terrible foe or an enemy who opposes you. Think of it like the ultimate schoolyard bully, except totally invisible. The source explains that, honestly, we're naturally inclined to follow bad suggestions. In fact, on our own, we're basically stuck as captives to this adversary, Satan. Understanding this unseen opponent is really the very first step to figuring out why it's sometimes just so incredibly hard to do the right thing.
But listen, we definitely aren't left without hope. The text anchors itself in this amazing promise from Luke chapter 10, verse 19. Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy. This beautifully illustrates our foundational hope. God promises us actual, real power over the enemy. We literally do not have to be defeated by those negative poles.
Which brings us to part 2, meet the Mighty Conqueror. Because, hey, every epic battle needs a hero, right? Our text introduces ours as the Mighty Conqueror. And there is a massive contrast here. While Satan's legions are totally willing to gang up and oppose just one single soul, the Mighty Conqueror is out there actively rescuing captives. The absolutely crucial point is that God alone can limit the enemy's power. In fact, the adversary actually fears and trembles before Christ's strength and majesty.
And that sets up the ultimate rescue mission. The source makes it clear that Christ's entire mission was to rescue us from the grip of this great adversary. So when we or our kids are surrounded by bad choices, we're not actually supposed to just white-knuckle it and rely on willpower. No way! We have a mighty conqueror stepping in to guide our desires and give us real, tangible strength.
Let's move on to part 3, the ultimate secret weapon.
Okay, so how exactly do we tap into the conqueror's strength? Well, the text explicitly points to our secret weapon, fervent prayer. To be fervent means having a passionate intensity, being truly deeply earnest. We're not talking about a sleepy, going through the motions bedtime prayer here. The text promises that when we humbly entreat the mighty conqueror with this kind of earnest, passionate prayer, even the absolute weakest believer, as long as they're relying firmly on Christ, can successfully repulse Satan and all his host. It doesn't require you to be the strongest. It just requires you to ask passionately.
So if you, or maybe a child you're guiding, feels totally helpless against bad influences, the text offers a really simple 3-step battle plan. Step 1, persevere in danger. Basically, don't give up. Step 2, pray an earnest prayer of faith, casting yourself fully on Christ. And step 3, receive angel reinforcements. I mean, what a fantastic visual way to explain prayer to a kid, right? It's not just closing your eyes. It's literally calling in the absolute best backup in the universe. And that leads perfectly into part 4, angel reinforcements arrive.
Now this is exactly where the dynamic of the whole battle completely flips in our favor. The enemy trembles. The source vividly states that at the very sound of your fervent prayer, Satan's whole host literally shakes with fear. And why? Because they just cannot endure having their powerful rival appealed to. Just the simple act of you calling out to Christ sends absolute shockwaves right through the enemy's ranks.
When those reinforcements show up, it's because the Savior actively listened to that earnest prayer of faith. He immediately sends angels that excel in strength, and the believer is delivered from danger. Seriously, think about how empowering that image is for a kid. Strong, holy angels actively deploying like literal superheroes to rescue you from the enemy's legions. How cool is that?
The text then poses a really crucial question. What is our strength? When we're out here trying to baffle this relentless foe and even trying to subdue the opposition inside our own hearts, what is it that we actually rely on?
Well, the answer is the joy of the Lord. The text tells us that nothing but Christ's loving compassion, His divine grace, His almighty power, and letting the love of Christ completely fill our hearts can prepare us to receive the power He has waiting for us. It's not just about fighting tooth and nail, it's about being filled with genuine joy and grace.
Finally, we arrive at part 5, winning the ultimate victory. You see, this final victory isn't just about dodging danger. It's actually about changing who we are at our core, becoming like Him. The text says that by beholding Christ, which basically means keeping our attention totally focused on Him, almost like a kid looking up to their absolute ultimate hero, we actually start to become like Him. As a seeker of truth sees the perfection of God's principles, they naturally become dissatisfied with anything less. The text points out that a battle must be fought against the attributes that Satan has been strengthening for his own use. We actively have to leave those bad habits and bad influences in the dust.
But again, I can't stress this enough, you do not do it alone. You win by pleading for grace and efficiency, meaning the actual ability and strength to do what's right. As you come pleading to the Redeemer, He knows exactly what saving power will gain the victory for you in this conflict. The Savior is going to strengthen and help you every single step of the way.
So, I want to leave you with this one question. Who will you look to when your next battle begins? If there's one thing you take away from our explainer today, make it this. The next time you, or a child you're guiding, faces bad influences, are you going to remember your secret weapon? Will you offer up a fervent prayer and call on the Mighty Conqueror to bring in those angel reinforcements? That victory is out there, just waiting to be claimed.